I stared at the cup of coffee in front of me, steam curling upward with a strange, unfamiliar aroma. Something about it felt wrong. The scent wasn't like the rich, comforting coffee I drank every morning. There was a sour undertone, a faint metallic trace that instantly made my stomach twist. Are you going to try it, Clara? My husband Daniel asked, tilting his head slightly. A faint smile tugged at his lips, but his eyes were cold, sharp, and watchful. Across the table, Vanessa, Daniel's sister-in-law, stirred her coffee absent-mindedly. We were seated in her immaculate Austin home, sunlight glinting off the marble counter. She hadn't taken a single sip of her drink. My fingers tightened around the cup as I forced a smile. Of course, I said lightly, lifting the cup, but I didn't drink. Instead, I watched the dark surface ripple as my pulse quickened. After 3 years of marriage, I had learned to listen to my instincts. Strange things always seemed to happen when Daniel and Vanessa were around. Just last month, I'd ended up in the hospital after dinner at her house. A sudden wave of nausea, dizziness, and stabbing pain that the doctors couldn't explain. The only thing I remembered clearly was the tea Vanessa had served me minutes before it began, and it wasn't the first time. There was the Christmas party when Vanessa had spilled a cocktail on me by accident, forcing me to leave early. The meals that sometimes tasted off. The mysterious fatigue and headaches that followed family gatherings. Each time, I brushed it off as coincidence, until now Vanessa finally lifted her cup and mimicked a sip, but her lips didn't touch the liquid. Daniel's gaze was fixed on me, unblinking. He was waiting. My heart hammered against my ribs, but my face stayed calm. I brought the cup close, pretending to drink. In that split second, I caught the briefest exchange of glances between Daniel and Vanessa, quiet, loaded, and chilling. A cold realization sank in. If I drank this, I might not make it through the afternoon. But if I didn't, they'd know I suspected them. Then an idea struck me. I let my wrist slip as if by accident, sending the coffee spilling across the pristine white tablecloth. Oh no, I gasped, quickly standing up and dabbing at the mess. In the commotion, I smoothly nudged my cup closer to Vanessa's and switched them without either of them noticing. I'm so clumsy. I laughed, forcing embarrassment into my tone. Vanessa's eyes narrowed for a heartbeat before she smiled faintly. It's fine, she said, standing up to grab more napkins. Daniel smirked, his voice low. You still haven't had your coffee, Clara. I smiled sweetly, lifting Vanessa's untouched cup. Actually, I have, I replied, pretending to sip again. It's delicious. Vanessa returned, sat down, and absent-mindedly picked up the cup in front of her, my original one. She raised it to her lips. I waited. Seconds passed. Then I saw her expression change. Her face paled, her lips pressing tight as she tried to swallow down the sudden nausea. Daniel frowned. Vanessa? You okay? She didn't answer. Her hands began to tremble violently, the spoon clattering against her plate. Something's wrong, she gasped. Daniel shot up from his chair, panic in his eyes. What the hell is happening? I stood slowly, my phone already recording on the table. Vanessa clutched her throat, gasping for air, sweat beading across her forehead. Daniel turned to me, face twisted with rage. Clara, what did you do? I met his gaze calmly. Me? I didn't do anything, Daniel. I just drank Vanessa's coffee. Silence. Then realization dawned on him like a lightning strike. Vanessa's voice came out in strangled gasps. To Daniel, that's not my cup. His expression froze. I folded my arms. Tell me, Daniel, who were you trying to poison? He didn't answer. Vanessa collapsed to the floor, convulsing as Daniel knelt beside her, shouting her name. I dialed emergency services, my voice steady. Yes, this is 148 Brookside Drive. Possible poisoning victim. Daniel lunged toward me, but I pressed send before he reached me. Don't try anything, I warned. It's all recorded. Vanessa, barely conscious, clutched his sleeve. You said, just enough to make her sick, so she'd miss the meeting. Daniel's face drained of color. Shut up, he hissed. I crouched beside them. Do you want to explain, Daniel, or should Vanessa finish it for you? Vanessa's eyes blazed with hatred. You promised you wouldn't kill her? The words hit him like a bullet. He stumbled back, muttering, No, this isn't right. The sirens grew louder outside. I straightened up, my voice sharp. No, Daniel. This is exactly what you planned for me. Only this time, it's you and Vanessa who'll face the consequences. Paramedics burst in, rushing to Vanessa's side. I sent the video recording to my lawyer's email and watched as they carried her out. Daniel stood frozen, hollow-eyed, as the weight of his crimes began to sink in. For the first time in months, I felt free. Hours later, at Austin General Hospital, the halls smelled faintly of disinfectant and rain. Vanessa was in critical care. Daniel sat outside the room, pale and silent. I wasn't there for comfort. I was there to make sure justice followed through. Dr. Miriam Collins looked up from Vanessa's blood work as I entered her office. Clara Hayes? Yes, I said, taking a seat. I'm Vanessa's sister-in-law. I'm seeing some inconsistencies in the toxin levels, the doctor began. But I interrupted her by sliding my phone across the desk. Listen to this. The recorded audio filled the room. Vanessa's panicked voice, Daniel's cold replies. You said it would just make her sick enough to miss the meeting. You promised you wouldn't kill her? Dr. Collins stared at me. Are you saying they've done this before? More than once, I said quietly. I've been hospitalized 3 times in 6 months. None of it was an accident. She nodded grimly. We'll run a full toxicology panel and alert the authorities. 3 hours later, Detective Ryan Cole approached me in the waiting area. Mrs. Hayes? I stood. Yes, I'm investigating the poisoning case. Can you tell me what happened? I recounted everything. The switched cups, the recording, the months of unexplained illnesses. Then I showed him screenshots from Daniel's phone. The detective's face darkened as he read. Make sure she's too sick to leave bed that day. Increase the dose. Are you ready to file a formal complaint? He asked. I've been waiting for this moment, I said firmly. A month later, the trial began. I sat in the witness box as the prosecutor played my recording for the jury. The courtroom fell silent. Dr. Collins testified, confirming that Vanessa's blood contained a synthetic toxin not found in common food products, a poison that, in higher doses, could have caused heart failure. Daniel looked nothing like the confident man I once knew. He sat hunched, defeated. When the verdict came, guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, I didn't feel triumph. Only peace. As I walked out of the courthouse, the Austin sky stretched clear and blue above me. I had survived their betrayal and reclaimed my life. A year later, I stood on stage at a business conference, lights shining on my face as applause echoed through the hall. If someone had told me a year ago I'd be standing here, I said, smiling, I wouldn't have believed them. Success isn't just about talent, it's about integrity, perseverance, and rising after betrayal. The audience nodded, listening closely. They didn't need to know the details. The lesson was enough. When people try to destroy you, I continued, don't waste your energy on revenge. The best revenge is success and peace. Applause thundered through the hall as I stepped off the stage. A young woman approached me, eyes bright. "Miss Hayes, your speech was incredible," she said. "Someone at work tried to sabotage me and I almost gave up. Hearing your story gave me strength." I smiled gently. Don't let anyone decide your worth. Stay honest, work hard, success will follow. Stepping outside into the cool Austin air, I took a deep breath. No more fear. No more ghosts of the past. Daniel and Vanessa were gone, serving their sentences. Forgotten Dot, and as my phone buzzed with a new contract confirmation, I smiled. This wasn't revenge. It was victory, the kind built on truth, resilience, and survival.